Welcome to Beautifully Unfiltered, the Purple Runway podcast. The Purple Runway podcast is about breaking the silence, honoring truths, and creating honest conversations that lead healing and advocacy and empowerment. For too long, the stories of domestic violence, especially those rooted in trauma, silence, and survival, have been hidden behind closed doors, and we're here to change that. So welcome to Beautifully Unfiltered, the Purple Runway podcast, and let's walk with purpose together.
Hello and welcome back to Beautifully Unfiltered with Gigi. It's been a while. I've been in Aruba, enjoying life, of course, but I want to bring someone special to you guys this time. And this is Dr. Leslie that you're going to learn about and meet today. We were supposed to do this podcast couple 2-3 weeks ago, and then you know how sometimes when things just don't go well, we were on Zoom, we were planning on doing it that way, and then the lines kept freezing, we couldn't get into it, and so we said, okay, this is not going to work. So she said, you know what, I'm going to come to the studio. I was like, that's even better. So we rescheduled it for today, and I'm really excited because she's going to start off a series for Beautifully Unfiltered, where a lot of people are going to flow down that's in my life. Mm-hmm. And because of the conversation that we're going to have, she's going to be able to explain, and I think over time that you're going to see that how someone like her is so important in your life when you're healing and when you're flowing and when you're growing. So I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Leslie. I want her to introduce herself, and then we're going to get in some great conversation. Of course, we're going to have a game as we like to normally do, and you're going to love her just as much as I do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
You know, as you were just speaking just now, it reminded me of acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes things happen outside of our control, and, you know, there's not really much that we can do about it except for accept it.
Yeah.
And understanding that acceptance and approval aren't the same thing. And we had things that happened outside of our control. We had tech issues and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But we made it.
We made it.
And we're here.
That's right.
And we are just going to have great conversation. And we're just going to chat and talk and have fun.
As we usually do before we even got here. Oh, this is the first day we've met in person.
Yes. It's absolutely amazing. And I appreciate you for sharing the space with me. I really, really appreciate it.
Also, because you know what you do in the community that we look to pour in after the storm of whatever they're going through is we need dedicated professionals like you. And so with that, I want to get into a couple of things today, as we were going to, is like about emotional regulation and DBT and trauma at different levels.
Sure.
Okay. And so first I want you to give your professional background.
Okay.
And then I want to go into my first question is, because you specialize in DBT, is that break down what those terms are day to day. And then also, if someone is feeling overwhelmed by their emotions, what is step one?
Oh, wow. Okay. That's some heavy stuff, right? Okay, so just kind of a breakdown of my professional background. My name is Dr. Leslie Bottoms. I have a doctorate in counselor education and supervision. What does that mean, right? Because most people, when they think of a therapist or they think of someone in my profession with a doctorate, they're automatically thinking a psychologist. Right?
Absolutely.
Or a psychiatrist. Yeah. Right? And what do those terms mean? Mm-hmm. So my doctorate in counselor education and supervision was really about, I wanted to make better therapists. Right. Mm-hmm. I wanted to guide better helpers. Mm-hmm. I got tired of hearing the horror stories about therapists eating meatballs during session or driving or doing their laundry during session or making the
we talked
session.
About that because we had one for we talked about that.
Right. And so I got to a point I was just like, who trains these people? Like, I want to be the person that actually trains them. Right. You know, and be a better servant, right? Yeah. You know, and speak to my calling and, you know, collect people of a sort that are passionate about helping other people, right? That want to learn, not even just the clinical aspect of it, but the humanistic aspect of it.
Yeah.
My practice is Wise Mind Counseling PLLC, and we provide therapeutic services for individuals 13 and up, virtual and in person, and we are based in Richmond, but we also serve all of Virginia virtually.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's a bit of my clinical professional background. I'm a mom.
Yeah.
I've got an 18-year-old. I'm a wife.
Yes.
You know, our anniversary is coming up on May 23rd, so I'm excited about that.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And I'm a fur mom.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
a recent plant mom. I just started a garden too.
Oh, you getting ready to, get us off track talking about the garden because
Oh my gosh. Yes.
that
yes.
is the 28th is coming. The last frost is coming. I can't wait. Okay,
Yeah,
let me get back on track. Let me get back on track. We're going to talk about that at the end if we can.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so
that's me professionally.
okay.
In terms of DBT and what that means and like what's step one. So DBT stands for dialectical behavioral therapy. Okay. DBT. So dialectics really is about that middle path. Oftentimes we are presented with options in our lives, right? And we feel like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? And so what DBT does is it finds that middle path. Here's the rock. Here's the hard place. What's in the middle?
What's in the middle?
Right? Because we're often stuck between these two things. And whenever you give yourselves only two options, you've already set yourself up for failure.
Yep.
Right?
That's beautiful.
So that middle ground, that middle path allows you to really say, what are my options? And if I don't know what my options are, who does know?
Right.
Who can help me explore and discover what other options there are? And within dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT, there are 4 pillars. Okay. So one of the pillars is emotional regulation. So when we talk about emotional regulation, what we're really talking about is what are you feeling? Like putting a name to it, right? And so what are you feeling? And how is your body expressing that emotion, right? Oftentimes when I use this example of like, what are you feeling? I often tell people like, method to my madness, bear with me for a second.
No worries.
So like, have you ever watched a scary movie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So like with scary movies, they're always trying to figure out what. Here's a little quiz for you.
Okay.
where there's demons.
Who's the killer? Who's the demon?
Who's the demon, right?
Right.
And what's the one thing that they're constantly trying to figure out about that demon?
What's making them tick?
Yes.
And what can destroy them?
Yes.
And
think even more like very basic.
who they are.
Okay. And what does that mean exactly? Who they are?
Is identifying character traits.
And I'm gonna give it away in a second.
Okay.
Just one more guess.
Okay, character traits and why.
Yes. So let's back up for a second.
Okay.
Who they are.
Who they are.
What's in a name. Right.
Right.
So they're always trying to identify in the horror movie where there's a demon present. They're always trying to figure out the name.
Yeah.
Because when you name it, the power diminishes.
The power diminishes. Okay, so that happened in like The Exorcist.
Yes.
Come to think about it.
Yes.
Got it.
So
why are you here? What do you want?
Right.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Okay.
So the same is true with emotions.
Okay.
When you name what you're feeling, the intensity of the emotion diminishes.
Right.
Like I know what this is. And so when you name it, whether it's anxiety, whether it's anger, irritability, or anything like that, the emotion, the intensity of the emotion diminishes because now you know what you're dealing with, right? And you know how your body...
Language put to it.
Yes, yes. And so part of dialectical behavioral therapy is naming what you're feeling, whether it's one emotion or several, and how your body is expressing it, right? So that's that part. And then you've got interpersonal effectiveness, right?
Okay.
And so what that means is, how do I have a better relationship with myself and other people? Right. And sometimes that means setting boundaries.
Exactly.
Right. And so boundaries are the things that we utilize to protect ourselves. Boundaries, and I say this to everybody about boundaries. Boundaries are our terms and conditions.
I love that.
Right?
I love
boundaries are, hey, I want to have a relationship with you.
But these
Here are my terms.
Yep. And I say they're bridges and not walls.
Right.
Right.
That part. They are. They absolutely are. All right, and so that's emotional regulation, that's interpersonal effectiveness, and then you have distress tolerance, which we've already talked about.
Yes.
Right? Distress tolerance is learning to accept things that are outside of your control. and understanding that acceptance and approval are not the same thing.
But
Now,
you need tools to do that. That's a heavy part of it.
Yes. And so I'll give you a good example of that
Okay.
one. So I've been in Virginia my entire life. I was born here, right? And I've lived in different parts of Virginia.
Yeah.
I accept that Virginia has all 4 seasons in one day.
True.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to accept it, I have to have my sweater.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's, you know, the winter time, I got my boots, I got my hat, I got my gloves, I got
Umbrella,
all of that stuff, right? I got my sandals too, right? Because you never know, right?
Bathing suit sometime. No, I'm just
right, exactly. And so distress tolerance is about accepting the things that are outside of our control, so that we don't pop off because something happened and we don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
And then the fourth pillar for dialectical behavioral therapy is mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Learning how to be where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to be present. Learning how to be in the moment. I tell everybody about DBT in terms of mindfulness, and I tell them, like, we have our own little time travel machines.
Mm-hmm.
It's our brain.
Mm-hmm.
Our brain likes to be in the future. It likes to be in the past. It doesn't like to be here.
Right.
Right? And so when it's in the future and it's in the past, it takes our body, it hijacks our body and takes it with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So learning how to be here, learning how to be in this time zone, learning how to be present is another component. And still.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And paying attention on purpose. You know, people think about mindfulness and they're like, oh, I got to
zama. And that's
not
you
just.
can be active and still be mindful.
Paying attention on purpose. So like in this conversation,
mm-hmm.
we're being mindful.
And active.
Yes. Yes. So that's DBT.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. And I love that was one of the first conversations. I don't think a lot of people may know what that is. And I think the education that we're talking about right now is very important, because it is that middle ground between the hard rock and the hard place, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what you're saying is that breaking each one of those pillars down identifies who we are, so we know how to react. We know the community we need to be and should be involved in. Yes. We know when we have to cut off and step back. And that's where I think the disconnect is in society right now, is that we're more mindful of all of those things, but we don't have enough ways to get there.
Right.
And a lot of times it's outpriced to the people that can price it, that's in therapy for 400 years. They can afford to do that. Yeah. But then there are people that are regular, everyday people that if they have these tools, life can shift for them. Yeah. But it needs to be affordable.
Yeah, that part.
You know?
Right.
So I love that. And I'm going to definitely put a link to Dr. Leslie's website so you guys can learn more about that. Or, of course, if you want to have a session with her, because these are the things that are important. And off camera, we were talking about the importance of knowing who we are and really understanding where we are in society, where this bubble is going to burst and people are going to understand the importance of humanity.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So
that part.
So that brings me to where we were and how you explained all that is I want to have a conversation about the high functioning people. Okay. And so when we're talking about the difference between functioning and actual healing. So you have those people, the high achieving women who are struggling to ask for help. Yeah. Or those high achieving women who are doing everything for everyone, but internally she's overwhelmed. Is chronic stress is holding back the competence of who she might know, but why do high functioning women are the last ones to make a change before they crash?
Yeah. It's survival. Yeah. Right? It's this idea that we have to keep pushing, we have to keep growing, we have to keep, doing things for everybody else and not ourselves. Right? I am a high achieving woman.
Me too.
Yeah. I am one that, like, we were just talking, like, I am trying to do this with my current practice, and then there's another company, and then there's another company, right? Yeah. And so it's this idea that we have to keep going. We have to set the example. We have to, be in the in club with the other high achieving women. And none of us can have a conversation about how difficult this really is.
Right. And you know what? I think with you and with me to some extent, because I'm still growing and still healing and still doing all that.
Yeah.
But the thing is that even though as we talk about, your calendar is insane. It's insane.
It is.
And the thing is that, but I think you know well enough when to step back.
I do.
You know when to cut off.
Yes.
You know when to say, you know what? This is about me today.
Yeah.
But most high-achieving women, I know when to do that for sure.
Right.
But most high-achieving women don't do that for themselves because we were never taught that lane.
Right.
So what can high-achieving women do, like in just every day, to start realizing their language, their presence, and all of that, even if they cannot make changes immediately?
I believe it's an issue of learning to listen to yourself, right? Learning to listen to what it is that you need, right? When you have that first inkling of, I'm exhausted, that's your sign.
That's your sign.
That's your okay, white flag, we need to take a break.
Right.
We need to stop. We need to be still. And that goes back into the conversation that we were talking about learning to be mindful, right? Learning to listen to yourself.
Right.
It's kind of like when you have that hunger pain, you have that automatic cue. You have a bodily sensation that it's time to eat. When you're overwhelmed
Right.
and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, that's your cue. It's time to take a break.
Yeah.
Or if you're looking around in your community and you're like, I haven't gone out and done something fun in a minute. Most of my interactions are business interactions.
Business interactions, exactly.
Right? I can't remember the last time I picked up the phone and talked to somebody. I can't remember the last time I went out and just hung out and tried new food and laughed.
And laughed. Yeah.
And laughed.
And you know what? That's when I started what I briefly mentioned to you about deck discussions last night.
Yeah.
Those small group of women, because that was my growth.
Yeah.
Growth into saying, okay, come to my home,
Yeah.
even though you're not my family.
Right.
That was a step in the direction. These are high-achieving women that are all around me in that small circle. And so when we started that, and they continue to say, we want to keep this the way it is.
Yeah.
Because coming together and having these discussions, high-achieving women, I believe, because I know I need it, a space to be vulnerable. A space to talk about everything else but the business. But we can work together on business.
Yeah.
But the thing is just somewhere to breathe. And we've been doing this since December the 13th. Okay. And, everybody makes it, or sometimes other people can't make it. But it has been like me leaving there last night and coming into here today. What I knew was I wanted to be there. I love my girls and have the talk, but I needed it.
Yeah.
I needed it.
Right.
And so I think that is another, maybe conundrum, maybe it's not the word, but how high-achieving women want to or need to or should build community outside of business.
Yes.
Because it's so important to our healthy development. Yeah. And for someone to hold us accountable saying, girl, you said you like to take baths 3 times a week.
Right.
And have you taken that bath today or yesterday or this 3 times a week? And be like, girl, no, because whatever. Okay, I'm going to call you next week.
Right.
And the girl, no, I didn't take the bath 3 days a week, but I did it twice. Let's go.
Yes. Yes.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
We're still like children. Well, we're all humans in that way.
Right.
And children like to be recognized for the good, but so do we.
Yeah, absolutely.
By people who we care about what they say.
That part.
Yeah.
Right. We want to foster those relationships. We want to have relationships where we value them and they value us as well. And we value each other so much that it's just like, yeah, you've got all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
You're recognized. You're doing all this. You got, all these connections. All these people. But how are you? Really? How are you?
Yep.
Like, when's the last time that you just sat? Right? When's the last time that you just did something that you wanted to do that wasn't connected necessarily to you making money? Right? When's the last time that you actually took care of you?
Right.
And outside of the roles that you play, right? Because you've got the business end of it. Yeah. You've got maybe for some individuals the academic side of it. But like you've also got the family part, right?
Yep.
The wife, the mom, the fur mom, the plant mom. You've got all of these different things.
Yes.
But when you take all those hats off, how are you?
Who are you and how are you?
Right. So a large part of that is learning to listen to that self-energy, right? Learning to listen to yourself. when you're like, I haven't been to the hair salon, I'm going to go do that, and I want a quiet session
That's
where
right.
we're not talking.
That's right.
I want to go get my nails done and say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just put in my music and just listen. I just want to vibe out. I just want to dance. I just want to do all of these different things, or I want to cook, whatever it is that nourishes you as someone that is high achieving. That's really important to do, right? Because when you're not nourishing you, as cliche as it sounds, you cannot fill from an empty cup.
You can't.
And if you're trying to fill from an empty cup, what's the quality of the output?
Right.
What are you really giving to someone else? Right.
And what are you achieving? And I think that you mentioned something of the disconnect. We all want to run a business. We all want to, make money in that business and make it to be successful.
Right.
But I think when we're planning or growing businesses, I think sharing with high achieving women is at what cost are you going to do that?
Yeah.
And when I say what cost, because once you get older, you get slower, you get all of those things, and the phone doesn't ring as much, so to say.
Yeah.
Are you going to feel like you're worthless at that point? Because, for example, there are people who have held positions, high positions, men and women.
Yep.
And when they lost this position, let's give an example of what the tragedy that happened this past week with Joseph Fairfax and everything. He was in a position. Things derailed that. What happened to that afterwards, right, was something that he couldn't spiral out of because that power was gone.
Yeah.
So as we grow in the profession, I think the old days are going to be over soon. We got to cushion that rock in the hard place to understand to say when we hang up our hat and something hits, we still have to have ourselves.
Yes.
And understand that our value is not diminishing because I'm not in this position anymore.
Right.
And that's a taught lesson.
Right. Like your value is not tied to what you do.
Exactly.
So oftentimes I say to individuals that I'm working with, like, who are you without these things? Who are you without the roles? The titles that you hold? Who are you underneath it all? Right? And so it's so important to foster and develop that sense of self. And even if you don't have it and you just view yourself within these roles, now's the time. Now's the time to step back and say, this is who I am when I hang up my hat. When I walk into the door at the end of the day, at night, my daughter doesn't care about what meetings I went to.
Exactly. She doesn't care what deal I closed today.
My dog doesn't care.
Right.
He just wants, hey,
and you know what?
me
I don't want to care until 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Right.
I just don't want to care.
Right. So when you take off all of these obligations and these priorities, who's underneath?
Right.
And how is she?
Right.
How is he?
Right.
How are they?
How is the relationship?
With self. What are you doing to make sure that you're okay?
So that is a perfect segue into the next question is because you work with the people with trauma and PTSD, what does healing actually look beyond talking about it? Okay. Of course, it's implementation in some degrees, but I know that you have, I assume, I don't know, that you've dealt with trauma and PTSD at various different levels. So one of the more challenging ones that you may have dealt with, that was that shift into them. How do you have people understand their identity and healing and relationships who are at a level of PTSD that is taking them some time to understand their value and what they need to, and how to assess relationships?
Wow, that's such a great question.
Okay.
That's loaded. Like, which part do I talk about? That's such a great question. So generally, when I'm working with individuals that struggle with PTSD, I want to bring them here.
Okay.
Right? Oftentimes, they are in the past and not even realizing that they're repeating the past. They're repeating the stuff that's happened, and they're not actually here. They're not present. Right. And so a lot of the initial work, a lot of the initial healing is helping them to be here and helping them to notice when they are here. Right. I've worked with an individual, obviously not giving any names or anything like that, but I've worked with an individual that has some difficulty with PTSD due to combat-related PTSD. And this person was just not even noticing that they were here. Like they didn't even notice, like when they were kind of like on autopilot, right? So the initial part of their healing was their homework was, I want you to pay attention on purpose to the moments that you're actually present. Yeah. I want you to notice when you're actually here, because they've spent so much time in the past reliving the experiences and so much time in the future trying to protect themselves from any future or, future threat that they don't even notice.
Call.
Yeah, they don't even notice when they're here.
Right.
Same with individuals that I've worked with sexual trauma. Like they spent so much time trying to protect themselves from the future and reliving the past in every relationship. That I'm like, how many times were you here and safe?
Right.
How many times, like in this moment here right now, did you notice that you were safe? Right? Yeah. And so that has been the start of healing. So when I'm working with individuals, the start of their healing is learning how to be here and how to be present.
Right.
Right? And then it's up to them how far they want to go. What I don't do is talk about the trauma over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
Because reliving the trauma and going into the nitty-gritty of the details of that trauma is actually more harmful.
More triggering over and over and over again.
Right?
Yep.
And so continuing to talk about it over and over and over again, it activates the nervous system and it tells the body we need to protect ourselves. We need to fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flock. Flock.
See, look, I'm going to let you go ahead and I'm going to.
Yes. So flock is safety in numbers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to put myself around people that can protect me.
Wow.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so when we're talking about the healing aspect, when it comes to PTSD, when it comes to trauma, what we're really saying is, how can I be here and present, and how can I understand what I'm feeling and know what activates my nervous system, right?
Yeah.
And make sure that I try to mitigate as much as possible, not going into those spaces that I know activates me. And if I have to go into those spaces that activate me, how do I protect myself in a way that doesn't pull me back into the past?
Right. That makes so much sense. Yeah. And it's a beauty when you can work with people that you can start seeing the layers come down where they are able to be present, because I'm sure you've been able to see how that happens, and just their overall demeanor before they open up their it's like life comes back into their space,
powerful.
And they're seeing hope.
It's such a powerful thing. And as you were saying that, it reminds me, like when I'm working with an individual and we're, talking about aspects of their trauma, not the details, the nitty-gritty, unless they want to go there.
Yeah.
But I also say, hey, we're not going to spend a lot of time there.
That's right.
I look for the yawn. I look for the yawn.
Yeah.
And so it may sound silly, but when we're yawning, we feel safe.
True.
Right? So like when I'm in session with someone and I see that they're yawning, like we've talked about something like very activating, very triggering, and they're like, oh. And I'm like,
yeah, because you yawn in safe spaces. Like you're not in the middle on stage and delivering anything, and you find yourself yawning, or anyone.
I love a yawn.
Yeah.
I love a yawn in therapy. I'm like, yes.
They trust me. Okay,
yes.
So.
Well, beyond they trust me. They feel safe in this moment.
They feel safe. That makes sense.
And I pay attention to that. I say, okay, so now you feel safe in this moment. What's that like?
Yeah.
What's it like to recognize that in this moment, in this present moment, in this shared space that we're having right now?
Right.
You're okay.
I love that. So I got one more question, and then we're going to go into our game, our corny but necessary
That's
game.
Okay.
I love it. We're going to have 3 questions for that. So practical tools for the audience to take away. Okay. Can you give 2 or 3 tools that someone could say, okay, I'm going to write this down after watching this episode, and I'm going to be able to try to monitor this on my own and see how it affects me. And then, they may want to reach out to you from there, or they may want to say, you know what, I want to learn more about how to self-regulate.
Yeah.
So what would you say 2 to 3 tools that someone can use today when they finish this episode and go implement on their own?
I would say the biggest thing is learning to be present.
Okay.
Right. Paying attention on purpose, because that's where it starts. Like learning how to regulate, you have to pay attention first.
Yeah.
Learning about your emotions, you have to pay attention first. You know, learning to have healthy and positive relationships with self and others, you have to pay attention first. Right?
Yeah.
Learning to accept things that are outside of your control. Again, you have to pay attention first.
Yeah.
So learning to be present in whatever way that looks for you.
Okay.
Right? So some people, they're present by doing like the deep breathing, right? Some people can't deep breathe because it activates their nervous system in an unpleasant way.
Yeah.
Right? Some people cook.
Yeah, breath work is not for everybody.
No.
Yeah.
No. Especially individuals that have experienced sexual trauma, they use their breath to dissociate.
Yeah.
So we want to be careful with breath work in certain people.
Wow.
Right? Right? So learning how to identify that thing that helps you to be in the moment. One of my go-tos is like, I love to cook. I love to cook. I love the taste. I love the flavors. I love the process. And I put on my music and I just get into a vibe. Right? If I'm making Italian food, I'm putting on Italian music. Right? If I'm making I think I made gumbo a couple of weeks ago and I put on like some it was like New Orleans type jazz and stuff like that. Like that was my mindfulness thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Mine, I like to color.
Yes.
Coloring with having a glass of wine or sitting on the deck and listening to nature, coloring or music. Yeah, that's one of the things. But people, when you color as an adult, you are in the present and you have all the colors laying here and then you're just kind of going with the flow. Yeah. How soothing that is. For me, is probably soothing for breath work as someone else. Breath work is good for me, but then you said other people not.
Right.
Find your thing. Right. I love that.
Yeah. Find the thing that allows you to be here and be where your feet are. And it doesn't have to cost a whole bunch of money.
No.
Right? You can just step outside, Virginia weather permitting.
Right.
Step outside and just take a moment and just listen to the birds. Or one of the things I like to say is all right, method to my madness, bear with me.
Okay.
It'll make sense in a minute. Okay.
No problem.
You ever watch The Lion King?
Yes.
Okay. Most people have by this point, right?
Especially if you have children.
Right, exactly. Do you remember that scene where Mufasa and Simba are at the top and the top of Pride Rock, and he's just like, everything the light touches, is ours, but that area over there, the shadow.
The shadow in the dark, yeah.
Right. So sometimes mindfulness is paying attention on purpose to where the light doesn't hit when you step outside.
Wow. That's a bar. Clock it. That's a bar.
But just paying attention.
Yes.
Like,
okay, I love that.
So that's one thing that I would definitely say is important to notice.
Okay.
Another thing, once you kind of move beyond and you've practiced being mindful and present in the moment, is learning to name what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Oftentimes, anxiety has become this catch-all. I'm anxious. I'm anxious. No, you're angry.
And lean into that. If I'm angry, I've learned to lean into it with rules around it. But I'm not going to dismiss it because that builds up the anger, frustration, resentment, yada, 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 yada.
You want to validate your emotions.
Absolutely.
Right? You want to say, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm whatever. Learning to name what you're feeling and acknowledging without judgment that you're feeling it. Because when you deny your emotions, you're denying your own humanity.
Yes.
Right?
And people, they don't like to feel, they don't want to understand that people have emotions in the real world. Yeah. They want you to always be composed in something. And you can be composed and still be assertive in how you're feeling. Right. So that's so important. Yeah. Okay. All right. So do. All right. So this game is called Trigger or Truth. Okay. Trigger or truth is I'm going to ask you a series of 3 to 4 questions. Okay. And you're going to say, is this statement a trigger? It's a reaction to someone that's triggered or someone who is sharing their truth.
Ooh. Okay.
I'm
going to do my best.
Okay. Here we go. All right. You didn't text me back, so clearly you don't care. Is that a triggered response or a truth response?
That is a triggered response.
Okay.
That is definitely a triggered response, right? Because what's happening is you didn't text me back. Clearly, you don't care. That's coming from your perspective, right? That's coming from your lived experience, your past, right? Because we don't know whether they don't care. It may be true.
It may be.
But it's a
conclusions
triggered.
will jump to. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes we need to check the facts on, our perceptions. Like, they didn't text you back. Maybe they were in the bathroom.
Right. Maybe they were asleep.
Maybe the worst case scenario, some of those things could have happened, right? Your absolute worst case, but like, that's more of a triggered response.
I love that. Yeah. Next one is, I need a moment to process before I respond. Is that a trigger or a truth?
I would say that's a truth, right? Because what you're doing is saying, hey, I want to have a relationship with you. I want to continue this conversation. I want to do it in a way that honors me and you.
Yep.
That's a truth.
Yeah. My sister-in-law told me this maybe 2-3 weeks ago, where she said, I remember for years and years and years, you used to always say, I need to process this. I got to process this first. And she said, I now know in many ways what that means for her now. Like the process of it. Yeah. And me processing it, I might get back to you in 4 days. I might get back to you in 2 hours. Right. But I'm not going to rush my process, right? Yes. To process how I'm feeling, if I'm going to do something, if I'm not going to do it. So I agree with that. Processing is necessary.
And it's interesting because if I can expound on that, I've heard people say, I need to process this, I need to process that, but not really understand what that means.
Right.
To process something. So my perspective on processing something is, I'm having an emotional reaction that's to something that is being said or done, or not said and not done. Right.
True.
I'm having an emotional reaction, and I don't want to act out of emotion.
Absolutely.
Right. Because when I act out of emotion, not saying emotions are bad.
Right.
Emotions are not bad or good. They just are, just like your fingernails, right? So I'm having an emotional reaction to something. I don't want to ruin the relationship because I acted out of my emotions. So let me validate my emotions. Let me do what I need to do to attend to how I'm feeling in this moment. And then once I've done that, whether it takes 2 hours or 2 days or 2 weeks, once I've done that, then I'm going to come back and have a conversation with you. And I'm going to tell you, hey, I need a minute. I will keep checking in with you to let you know I'm still processing. Yeah. I'm going to communicate with you while I'm processing it, but I need to process. I need to take a moment to validate my own experience and make sure that I'm not coming out of my own lived experience in my relationship with you.
Right. So. And you know what? Even when you have those skills and those tools, not skill necessarily skills, tools, it's like they're not absolute, because I can tell you a couple weeks later, I had an emotional response to someone in my family. Yeah. And it was something that was, lack of a better word, triggered on a conversation that it wasn't even meant to even go there. Right. But of course, the healthier part of me had to step back and listen to how that happened, but also apologize for that when it doesn't normally happen. Right? So just because we have the tools doesn't mean the tools are going to tool every single time.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, look, listen. Sometimes we are going to say stuff.
Right.
And we'll have to go back and say, you know what? I messed up.
Right. Right.
So
I messed up. And that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Okay, 2 more. So the third question is, I always end up in the same type of relationship. Is that a trigger or a truth response?
Oh, that's a good one. Both. It's not, that one's not an either or.
Okay.
Right. And so the reason why I say that is because of the word always. Right. Always and never. That's that rock and that hard place. Right. Right. Always and never. There's a middle path. Right. So I always end up in the same type of relationship. That may be true, and it may also be a trigger. Right? Because you may be in a relationship and you get activated by something that they've done or haven't done. Right. You're like, oh, this reminds me of my last relationship, the relationship before that, and relationship before that. Right? And so you're activated. And you may actually repeat cycles. Yeah. You may repeat history in relationships. and continuously meet the same person in a different body.
Until you have the understanding of how to break that cycle.
Right.
Because it's just like domestic violence survivors. They get into the same type of relationship over and over again. And not always, but many times saying, why do I keep attracting the same people in this way that want to hurt me?
Yeah.
But of course, they didn't start off that way.
Right.
So it's taking a step back and say, I have to understand and put language to who I am and my expectations.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
All right. So after this last one, we're going to pretty much close, and I have my standard signature question for you.
Okay.
So this is the last one, and I hope you guys have been taking notes because this has been really good, and I have enjoyed this entire session. So the fourth one is, I feel overwhelmed, so I'm shutting down. Is that a truth or a trigger?
I'm feeling overwhelmed, so I'm shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good one. Huh. My inkling is to say both, but then there's something pulling me to say that that's a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because the shutdown part of it?
Yeah. Because of that part, right?
But it could be lack of language in saying, I need to pause.
Yes,
I need to take
process.
a step back. It depends on who's deliberating it and how they're delivering it, I guess. Yeah.
And what does shutdown mean?
Yeah, what does shutdown mean to them? Exactly. In that general statement, shutdown means that I'm going to isolate. I'm not going to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to process, but right now I'm overwhelmed. And I'm telling you I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, hearing you expound on it, that's a truth.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling overwhelmed, so I'm going to shut down. Like, you're speaking your truth, right? You're speaking your truth to yourself. Yeah. You're speaking your truth to others that are interested in hearing it, right? Yeah. The people that you value, the relationships that you value, that's a truth for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. All right. So my final thoughts for this is I always come to, before I close, is ask my sisters who come in and my brothers who come in, your favorite song.
Oh.
And the reason why I ask that, it is a standard signature question for us, is because after people look at this podcast and this segment and learning you and feeling what we were talking about, I want them to walk away with what you want them to feel like. What is that song that brings you up, that always hits your good points or whatever and represents you?
Wow. My favorite song. So, India Ari, This Too Shall Pass.
I think I know that, but I can't put it to beat in my head.
I'm not going to sing it.
Okay, no. Okay, got it. I'm going to find it. It's going to be attached to this. Okay,
This too shall pass. Because when I am struggling, when I am at, my breaking point, when I am overwhelmed, right? I put that song on, and her words are so powerful. One of the first lines of that song is, I've achieved so much in life, but I'm an amateur in love.
Wow.
And that's not necessarily love of for another person. It can also stand for the love of yourself. And so when I put that song on, and I'm like, okay, I have my ugly cry.
And they're needed sometimes. Yeah.
Yes. But that is my favorite song. My second favorite song. I know you didn't ask for it, but
no, it's fine.
Anyway. Bag Lady, Erykah Badu.
Ooh, that's in my top 20.
Yes.
That's in my, and then if you think about, as soon as you said it, you think about the video that she did with Bag Lady, although it was maybe inappropriate for that time and space, but it was her truth in that time and space.
Yeah. And when I hear that song, it's a reminder for me as a high achieving woman that some of these bags that I'm carrying don't belong to me. And I'm going to hurt my back trying to carry everybody else's bags, trying to make sure that everybody else is good.
That's right.
So it's just like...
And I'm smiling and I'm hunched over. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't do
so it. Those are my two favorite songs.
All right, great. So before I completely close out, Dr. Leslie, I want you to look at this camera, your camera, and I want you to share what you would, wrap it up in your mind, what we talked about, and share some extra tools, bonus point tools with the audience. And as I said, you guys, I will be sharing her information in her podcast when it's released in a couple, 2-3 weeks. And but for here, this is what I would love for her to take away, you all to take away from her.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you again.
Thank you
for sharing the space with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
For all of you out there that are listening, I just want to remind you to be here, to be present, to be where your feet are, to just stop in this moment with me and just pause and just notice that in this moment, you're actually okay. You may not have been a minute ago, and there's a lot of anxiety happening, that there are things that are outside of your control that may happen a minute from now. But in this moment where you're here and you're connected with us, you're okay. Yeah. And so take more of those moments to notice when you're actually doing okay. And you can literally kind of stop time with that, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want you to leave with.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being in my sphere, for coming here today.
Absolutely.
And just for being who you are, because as I said, I first met you and had to look at your calendar and see how crazy it was. But for you to have that calendar and to be so grounded into who you are, because I know therapists need therapists.
I go to therapy once a week.
Exactly. But the thing is that you are one of the ones that I understand that know how to separate it more. And I can't wait to continue to grow with you and to continue to learn from you. Yeah. And that we have to do this in a follow-up again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. That is it for today. I'm going to close this computer. I know you all are going to walk away from this and feel inspired. And as you know, during these podcasts, it is healthy for me because they help me grow. I want to give a shout out to Chandel because she has been here for me, helping to produce this space. And it has been, I've been so thankful for her because what she saw in me when we started this less than a year ago, almost a year ago, it's grown me over that. And because she's a high achieving woman, and I love high achieving women because they inspire me and they help me level up. And Dr. Leslie is one of those people. Chandel is one of those people. And I want you to understand community matters. And she's telling you how to start within to find the right community and not just any community. But of course, you know, we always welcome you in here. Until then, till next time, take Beautifully Unfiltered with Gigi and let me know your thoughts. Share this with someone that can help, or create a community and start doing what Dr. Leslie said, and then check back with us and let us know how it is so you can maybe be on the podcast. Until then, have a great one, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
This is an extension of Purple Runway, where we honor survivors, celebrate their courage, and amplify the voices that are often go unheard. Whether you're a survivor, a supporter, an advocate, or someone still finding their way, you're not alone, and this space is for you.